Spoilers for Attack on Titan, Episode 88, The Final Chapters, Special 1. You've been warned. The hour-long special of Attack on Titan, Season 4, Part 3, The Final Chapters, Special 1, has brought us one step closer to the end of the series, and invites us one step further into the broken mind of Eren Yeager. Enter it at your own peril. The beginning of episode 88 gives us 11 and a half minutes of masterclass Attack on Titan. We witness a beautifully scored and directed depiction of the horrors of the rumbling, and the rightfully menacing and villainous justification that Eren has for it. We essentially watch as Eren comes to terms with what he must do, accepting that this is the only outcome and dissociating to the point of considering the genocide of the entire world to be his absolute freedom. Let's try to understand this step by step, because Eren's mind is anything but simple. His dialogue first starts with notes of ambiguity and questioning. His first line is that, later, though I'm not exactly sure how far in the future, I massacre these people. He says that it is already determined that he will and must do this. In this moment at the beginning of the episode, we do sympathize with Eren. He gives the impression that he doesn't necessarily want to do this, but that he simply must. He is willed forward by his knowledge of the future, blindly pursuing what he sees as the only option. He mentions that he imagines they couldn't find a way to save Paradis in the future and had to resort to killing everyone. He even asks what his mother would think of what he's doing. This internal monologue he has creates this stark contrast to the Eren we left off with last season, the manipulative, all-powerful mastermind and bearer of the founding Titan, and the one with the humanity we remember. It is the classic struggle of fate versus free will. As Eren watches a young child get assaulted in an alleyway, he begins to walk away, acknowledging that in the future, he will kill this child in the rumbling. What good would helping him do now? Who is he to act good now and protect him, knowing that he will kill all of them someday, like some cruel act of kindness just prolonging their suffering? Yes, he has the free will to help him in this moment, but if he knows he is destined to kill him, why bother? We, as the Watchers, are placed in this back and forth between the past and the present and the future, however you want to call it. We are put in Eren's shoes. As Eren cries, apologizing unrelentingly to the young kid he could not help but save, that the future foretold he would do, we simultaneously witness as Eren brings about the child's death. We are left with this beautifully tragic, yet horrifying reality, that Eren fears who he will become, but cannot help but do it. At this moment, it is difficult not to sympathize with Eren. But then, we are quickly reminded of what Eren truly believes. When he is not justifying his actions as just being a pawn to the future, a harbinger of the end, his own justification. The reality of the world outside of the walls was different from the world I dreamed of. I was disappointed. I wanted this. I wanted to wipe everything away. In a single moment, we remember that this is still the path Eren chose. He crushes those children with conviction. He is sorry, but that will not stop what he knows he must do. The destruction, the massacre, the genocide. Eren has convinced himself that this scene, this view from the sky above the walls, seeing the world that he and Armin once dreamed of, is freedom. He has reached the pinnacle and finally done it. Regardless of the means, he has reached that end, and convinced himself that this genocide is, in fact, absolute freedom. His mind is broken, as I'm sure all of ours would be too, were we just a child given all the power to destroy the world and the foreboding that someday you would do it. Who are you to argue otherwise? If you are destined to do this, and a part of you might believe that this is right, why bother trying to do anything else? What began as a sympathetic demonstration of Eren's feelings of being trapped on this path that the future has inevitably laid out for him, some form of twisted justification, it devolves into the reality of it all. Eren wanted all of this. He will become Reiner. He will become worse than him. He will take away the lives of Marleyans and the rest of the world if it means that Paradis can keep theirs in the pursuit of absolute freedom from the terrors of humanity outside of the walls forever. The most interesting line, I think, from this episode comes from Eren's dialogue with the remnants of the Survey Corps, where he tells them that they are free to protect the world's freedom, and he is free to keep moving forward. This goes a long way in justifying Eren's actions as well, or at least how he sees it in his mind, in that freedom is subjective. Eren acknowledges that his freedom is derived from taking the rest of the world's from them, and forcing them down into absolute subjugation and massacre as his kind were for thousands of years. Marleyan freedom, on the other hand, means using Eldians as tools and scapegoats to take the blame of history's massacres. The current Survey Corps' freedom is given to them by Eren. It is the freedom to choose how to act with their titans and to try and protect the rest of the world's freedom if they desire it. Eren wants to protect them. He won't take away their freedom, and thus it is their freedom to decide what they want to do with it. It brings up one of the most interesting themes in Attack on Titan, and one of the most confusing as well. The clash of views amidst an eternal cycle and back and forth of who is the enemy and who is the victim. And the justification behind Eren's actions, knowing that there will only be one true freedom among those different groups of people when the rest are eliminated. After what he's been through, what he's seen in the past, present, and future, all the different ideas and clashes of morals, everything, this is all Eren can do to finally end it. Aside from that, I think this episode was beautifully made. From the pacing to the soundtrack to the attention it gives to each character in this finale, all of it kept me intrigued and excited for the finale to come. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, this has been the Anime Culture Corner. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future in-depth show, manga, and character analyses.